This is Megan Carter Orlando from the EarthChem team. Thank you for joining this tutorial on how to submit your dataset to the EarthChem library, which I will refer to as the ECL for short. In a previous tutorial on the ECL, I gave tips on how to prepare your dataset for submission. I stressed the importance of using the data submission templates available at www.earthchem.org/data/templates, which you see here. I also stressed the importance of obtaining IGSNs or International Geosample Numbers for your physical samples wherever possible from the CSAR Sample Registry at www.geosamples.org, and this should be done prior to submission as well. There are tutorials for doing so on the AIDA YouTube channel at www.youtube.org/AIDAdata. Furthermore, and most importantly, I emphasize that regardless of data type or format, datasets should be well documented, especially with respect to analytical metadata and sample provenance. In other words, you should document your dataset well enough to make it reusable, easily reusable by others, and easily discoverable in the EarthChem library. Now, once you are ready to submit your dataset, you should go to www.earthchem.org/library/submit, or go to the EarthChem library homepage and choose Submit. In order to submit, you will be prompted to enter any NSF award numbers that you would like to link your data submission to. In this case, I will choose Not To. And then once you've made that selection, you will be asked to log in via your GeoPass user credentials. Now, there is a tutorial about how to obtain a GeoPass account if you do not already have one. It should be noted that the GeoPass login credentials allow you access to multiple geoinformatics systems, including the system for Earth sample registration. So if you already have access via GeoPass to these other systems, then you will be able to log in here using the same credentials. So let me now log in with my credentials. So once you've logged in, you will see a web form asking for more information about your data set. Most of this information is requested in the data templates that I showed you before that you can download. So you're simply reiterating some of the data set level metadata here. Now this is a form. I'm just scrolling through it so that you can see that there are several questions, but it's not terribly long. At the bottom, you'll see that there's a Save Progress button. So you can always save progress and return at a later time to complete your submission by clicking this button. So now I'll go through a bit of the information requested with you to clarify what each point is. So first, you're prompted to enter a title for your data set, and this should be the what and where of your data set. So for example, one good title might be X-ray fluorescence geochemistry of submarine lavas from the Mauna Loa volcano, Hawaii. As I said, that gives you the what and the where of the dataset. Now you choose dataset type. Dataset language is usually English. Dataset type is most frequently dataset, but if you think you might have a different type of dataset, you can always click this See Definitions button to figure that out. You can then enter an author. You may either select from a drop-down list of authors that have previously published data in the EarthChem library, or you can choose this option here to add new author. And you're also asked to give the author's email. You can add co-authors, as many as you would like, up to 15. And then one of the most important fields is actually the abstract or description of your data set. This is typically 3 to 5 sentences that describes the measurements that you made, the location that the samples that you collected were from, if you collected samples, and the reason why you're doing the analysis in the first place. This is also an important place to list the name of the cruise or field expedition that your data are associated with, if relevant. You can also choose data type. So this is a way to flag your data set as being rock chemistry or petrography. You may choose more than one data type if applicable. Another important field to take advantage of are options for keywords. Keywords help to make your data set more discoverable. So you want to think about both non-geographic and geographic keywords that others would use to search for a data set like yours. You might list locations, you might list analytes, you might list methods, any terms that you think are relevant to describe your data set. Next, you're asked for any related publications. You can list as many as you would like here. Then there's the option to enter one publication DOI. So we ask that you please enter the DOI of the most relevant publication, here. And you must enter it in this format where you see it's prepended by DOI:. You have the option to obtain a DOI for your data set, and nearly everyone who's published data in the ECL has opted to get the digital object identifier because it is a persistent and unique identifier that can be used to cite the data. However, there is the option to say you do not want the DOI. Spatial coverage is another geographic term to designate your data set as pertaining to a very local region, or maybe it's a compilation of global data. This is a coverage scope. And then here, this is where you actually enter the geographic keywords. So the box I showed you earlier is for keywords that are non-geographic, and here you can enter geographic keywords. Again, this is optional, but the more metadata you enter about your data set, the more likely it is to be discovered, and the more likely that it is to be reused and cited. So the very final step in submission is to actually choose a file. There are many different file formats that are accepted. As I mentioned before, the data templates are strongly encouraged. Those are Excel files, but there are many other options. So once you have entered all of your metadata, you can hit Submit to the ECL. And if there are any issues, those issues will be flagged and you'll be given the opportunity to correct them or enter a different value and then submit to the ECL. Once you click Submit to the ECL, you should see a little summary that your data set has been submitted, and you'll see the metadata that you entered. And that is all that you have to do. Now, there is one field that I forgot to mention here, and that is right above the Submit to the ECL button. This is the data file release date. The default for this date is the date on which you have submitted the data set, but you may choose a release date of up to 2 years into the future. If the data set is not released yet, the metadata about the data set, in other words, what you've entered in this web form above, will be available for the public to view, but the actual contents of the file, the data file itself, will not be downloadable. This allows EarthChem library users to submit data sets in compliance with data management policies or funding agencies without releasing the actual data immediately. But you get the DOI, and you can actually use that in your publications. Once you have entered the dataset level metadata, as I mentioned, you should attach the files and click Submit to the ECL. Once the dataset has been received by EarthChem, you will receive a notification from info@earthchem.org. This email will let you know whether any additional actions are required on your part, and it will let you know when you can expect to receive the dataset DOI, or Digital Object Identifier. Once you have it, you are strongly encouraged to use the dataset DOI in publications and encourage your colleagues to do the same. Furthermore, we ask that you update us in the future about related publications to this dataset so that we can appropriately attach them to the dataset metadata. So thank you for watching this tutorial on how to submit data to the EarthChem library. To learn more about the ECL, please see our other tutorials. You may also contact us at any time with questions or comments at info@earthchem.org. This is Megan Carter Orlando from the EarthChem team.